Well, good morning, Brickheads. Hey, I am taking a much needed 2 week vacation from the podcast. But fear not, I have gone back into the archives and found an older episode that I absolutely loved, and I know you will too. So, without further ado, I hope you enjoy. All right, well, welcome to a LEGO podcast, a LEGO BrickCast. Today is October 9th, 2024. I am excited to have you with me today. It is a wild card Wednesday, so I'm thinking Wednesday may be my favorite day so far because I just choose a topic that I just love to talk about. And today I want to talk to you about a theme, and that theme is LEGO ideas, or LEGO CUUSOO if you're old school. So this is how I'm going to lay this out. First off, welcome if you're listening to wherever podcasts are listened to. Also, got this streaming on YouTube. So if you are not an audio person, you're a visual person, and you want to see my ugly mug talk about LEGO, this is also on the LEGO YouTube page. You can find me both at the Imagination Brick Shop, like I say, on all of your Audible, Spotify's, things like that, as well as YouTube. So, like I say, feel free to check it out on the platform of your choice. But with that, let's talk LEGO ideas. This is a phenomenal theme, and so I'm going to give you a little bit of history on it, talk about some of the impressive sets, how it works, talk about some of the investing that goes on behind it, and just the overall forecast for the theme. And I'm thinking that's a lot of stuff. That should probably fill up a full episode. So first, a little bit of history. If you don't know, LEGO Ideas is a user generated theme, meaning that, and I've talked about this before on the podcast, but basically people create and submit their ideas to LEGO Ideas, and it is crowdfunded. You get 10,000 votes in a period of 365 days. You get to have your set submitted to LEGO to see if your set could actually become an official LEGO set. And the cool part is if it does, you get a 1% royalty from all of sales. So I always thought to myself, man, that the person who made the Saturn V missile, the one that, landed us on the moon, that set is so cool. Like, I've always thought, man, that person probably really banked just on 1% of LEGO. Who wouldn't love that? But before it got to that point, LEGO Ideas was actually LEGO CUUSOO, and LEGO CUUSOO started back in 2008. So it was a Japanese crowd-funded group, if you will, and they crowdfunded, I believe, only two sets. In fact, I can even look this up. The one set that's the amazing set that everybody loves, well, I wouldn't say they love, but the most collectible set was the very first LEGO Ideas set, and that was set 21100, the Shinkai 6500 submarine. And so this was a super limited released set, and it didn't get released actually until 2011. I remember not quite when this came out, but probably about a year after this came out, when LEGO CUUSOO started to get a little bit bigger, before it was LEGO Ideas. And remember seeing this set on the resale market already at that time for $250, somewhere around there. And just thinking to myself, that is way too much money to spend on that kind of set. Here's the deal. In 2024, this set is a $900 set now, new in box. So if you had your hands on the first LEGO CUUSOO set, LEGO Ideas set, like I say, resale market, new in box, because like I say, it's limited edition, $900, which is pretty incredible. Used will get you about $200, but again, at the time, I want to say it only was on sale for like $60. So really good return on investment. The second LEGO CUUSOO set ever to be released, again, through that Japanese partner group, if you will, that crowdfunding, was the 01 set, the Hayabusa, which was a I don't know, it looked like a satellite kind of thing. And most people don't have those first two. Here's the deal. LEGO CUUSOO didn't really break out until it started really going global, and that was with its third set back in, I want to say 2012, and that was the LEGO Minecraft set. So before LEGO Minecraft was an official LEGO theme, the very first one was a micro scale build of the forest. And it was on sale. It only was on sale for 35 bucks. And this was one of those that I remember finding on a deal for like, I think I spent 28 bucks on it after tax. And I was like, this is going to make buku bucks because, you know, Lego's going crazy. You got to understand, back in the day, investing in Lego was a little bit more Wild West, way more than it is today. But this micro scale Minecraft set now, new in box, goes for about 50 bucks. So it's almost doubled in price here in over a decade, but not your best investment. However, Lego really kind of came into their own with the next two sets, and these were definitely two sets worth mentioning. One was the Lego DeLorean and the Lego Ecto 1. And so since those two sets, there have now been creator sets. So there is a large Ecto 1 car, a creator car. It's like over 2,000 pieces. It is quite ginormous. It's really, really long, and it's amazing. But before that, there was a tiny Lego Ideas set, and it had all four of your Venkman, all four of your Busters minifigs. And I remember that was probably, I actually bought that before I bought the Minecraft set, and it was just really, really cool. Now, I didn't get the DeLorean. Probably shouldn't have gotten my hands on it. I do have the creator set of the DeLorean, but both really, really cool sets. Moving forward into time, the other set that I think really busted everything out on the market is, see, with the DeLorean, the Ecto 1, and the Minecraft set, pretty much all mass produced, and everybody could get their hands on it. But they're all 2100 sets. I'm going to just say 104, the Mars Curiosity rover. This was another example of Lego releasing something in a limited fashion. And if you hadn't gotten your hands on this set within like the first 48 hours of release, you weren't getting it at MSRP. So it was on sale for only 30 bucks at the time. You know, it only had 295 pieces. $30. Now on the aftermarket, if you have it new in box, it's $330. So I'm not great at math, but that's what, like 1,000% increase or something like that? That's absurd. Like 1,000% increase in price. I could not get my hands on this set. I remember I had a buddy reach out to me, was just like, hey, are you going to get your hands on this set? And I missed it. I wasn't paying attention. You know, like I said, I was still a little bit of a noob back then. But I didn't get my hands on it. And here's the deal. That set was released in 2014. And the other thing that happened with LEGO CUUSOO in 2014 was that is when it became LEGO Ideas. Okay, so this has really only been a LEGO Ideas theme for a decade. And they only released in the previous, 6 years, they had only released like 5 sets, right? But since then, there are 69 LEGO Ideas sets that have been released in the theme since it's been started. And so that Curiosity rover, I think that was one of my first big experiences, and I want to go and invest money in Lego because look at these massive returns. I couldn't get my hands on it, so you know what I did? I waited for the next 2 big releases, and that was the Exosuit and the Research Institute. The Exosuit was 35 bucks, and the Research Institute, it was only $20. And with how the Mars Curiosity rover was going, I was like, oh, I'm totally going to get these sets. They're really, really cool sets. So the Exosuit was this Mars, like, it almost looked like the suit from Aliens, that Ripley's in when she's fighting the alien queen. And so it was kind of a really cool space homage type set. And then the Research Institute was really cool because it was, women of science. And who doesn't love that? I think it was really cool concept, very cheap, good price point. And at the time, I had young girls, 2 daughters. Perfect. So I bought like 4 Research Institutes. I bought like 3 or 4 exosuits, put some away to invest, gave a couple of those to my kiddos, and just said, have fun and play. Ironically, those haven't gotten a great return on the market too. And I will say that with the Research Institute, it was only on shelves for 5 months. 5 months. Like I say, and I've said this before in podcasts, 2 years is a good standard. But there was a time, especially with LEGO Ideas, all the way up for that first 4 years of it being that LEGO Ideas theme, many of these sets were on shelves for just over a year. Hardly any of them made it to 2 years. Now we've got sets, if you're tuning into YouTube and looking at me, now sets like the tree house that I have sitting here right next to me and I'm spinning currently, this set has been on the market since time began. So this set, I haven't looked it up yet. I'll get down to it, but the tree house, let's see if I can find it. Yeah, the tree house was the 18th set that was released in the LEGO Ideas theme. It was $250, and this set came out in 2019. It's still on shelves. So it's had a 5-year lifespan. Anytime you get past 3 years in LEGO on the shelf, it's just crazy because you have to understand, there's so many themes out there. For everybody who loves LEGO Ideas, there's another contingent of fans that LEGO City is their thing. There's another contingent of fans that all they want to collect is Star Wars or Creator or Harry Potter or just the Marvel DC universe. Or you even have those kiddos that maybe just love LEGO Friends. I'm sure they're out there. You're great people. I'm sure you are. But yeah, LEGO Friends, that takes up shelf space, whether they're good sets or not. But so to have a set, especially a big set, this is not a small set. Like I say, it was $250. At the time, it was one of the biggest LEGO sets ever released. It was over 3,000 pieces. So 3,046 pieces. And it's gorgeous. It's a lovely set. I currently, if you can see me like say on the video, I currently have it set up in the autumn look. So all of the leaves are the browns and the golds. But the cool part about this set is you could actually set it up in its summer look or its spring look. And it had various tones of green for the leaves instead. And it's just so cute. It reminds me of the like Swiss Family Robinson. It's got the 3 little clubhouse looking spaces up above. There's a swing. There's a little creek that runs by. There's a fire and there's a little thing cooking on the fire. There's steps that go up to the clubhouse itself. And of course, there's got to be a telescope because no clubhouse in a tree is complete without a LEGO telescope. So it is a fantastic set. And I did buy 2 of these. I do regret it because this is a great example of why you can never believe what you see until it's official. We thought the LEGO Treehouse was going to be retired, I want to say December 31st of 2021. So given it a 3-year lifespan, give or take, and it was going to retire and it was going to be done, and then it just didn't. It just kept going. That and the Saturn V missile. But going from there, let's say you're interested in submitting your own LEGO idea set. This is the really cool part, is it's got to be your own unique idea. And as I mentioned on Monday's news and reviews, there are strict criteria for how you can get your set to become an official set, because you can build just about anything and you could lobby for 10,000 votes. But if you build a gun, that's not going to get through because that goes against LEGO's policies on violence and war. If you build anything obviously of a sexual nature, that's not going to get through, for obvious reasons. But also they have piece counts. And For the longest time, it was 3,000 pieces or smaller. If you were going to build a huge set, it just wasn't going to get approved. Lego recently, as I said on Monday's podcast, raised the piece count number from 3,000 to 5,000 pieces. So we are going to continually get bigger and bigger Lego Ideas sets. But you just assumed back in the olden days, if it was a huge, glorious looking set, it just wasn't going to get approved. And so it was really both maybe a blessing and a curse that this set got approved, because it's amazing. It is a marquee, iconic set. But because of that, like I say, it's been on shelves for 5 years, and that is a long, long time. But the other part I love, can I tell you the other part I love about Lego? I'm going to read off some different sets that have come out with Lego Ideas. And I bet you won't realize, even if you're into Lego, that you won't realize that some of these are actually Lego Ideas sets. So there's the Lego birds. It's a 3 set of birds. You've got your blue jay, a cardinal-y looking thing, and a hummingbird. The Big Bang Theory. So all of your major properties like The Office, Seinfeld, Queer Eye, Big Bang Theory, all of those are Lego Ideas sets. Lego Wall-E. And so, which is kind of funny because Lego, if it's an official theme, they usually don't approve the set. But Disney's kind of this little gray area, right? Because you have Lego Disney sets, but then you also have Lego Disney sets that are Lego Idea sets. And Wall-E is one of those. And if you've never seen Wall-E, he is awesome. He's awesome. In fact, it's kind of an interesting story behind it's set 21303, was released back in 2015 for $60. And the cool part about Wall-E is when he was first released, his neck didn't work right. And so if you were one of the first people to own it, the neck didn't actually hold up the head. Now, I got one of the first ones released, and I've never had a problem with the neck, but it temporarily got discontinued and then remade in a different way to have the neck be more supportive. So because of that, like I say, it was on sale for $60. Nowadays, it goes for $250 new in box. So Wall-E has been one that has skyrocketed in price, and rightfully so. It's really a cute set. It's got its treads. You can open up his little stomach so he can compact the trash. His little eyes go up and down to give him a little bit of expression, and he's even got a little plant in his hand. So you gotta love that, right? Moving on, Doctor Who. Don't personally love Doctor Who, but that's a Lego Idea set, and I know a lot of people did. Great resale. The Maze. What kid growing up in the 80s didn't have that little, the wooden maze set that you would rotate on 2 axes, and a little marble would go around the maze, and you had to try and get it from start to finish? That's one in Lego, and it was only out on shelves for 9 months, and I'm kind of sad. This is a good example of a set I did not get, but I really, really wish I had. The Beatles Yellow Submarine, if you're a Beatles fan. The Caterham, it's a car, Adventure Time. Saturn V, which I mentioned, which I just want to put this out here. Kudos to the designer, Carl Miram and Mike Piaskaski. I can't pronounce it right. Can I tell you one of my favorite things about the Saturn V set is that it clocks in at 1,969 pieces. And if you're a nerd like me, you're going to know exactly why that's so important. It's the Saturn V. It landed on the moon, right? The little lunar lander. And when did it do it? 1969. And so to have it at 1,969 pieces, that was very, very much on purpose. And I think this is a great idea of where a designer like that, who has poured their heart and soul into a set like this, I don't think if Lego had done this as their own official set, that would have happened. And so it's really, really an amazing set. Another great example of one that was on the market a couple times. Old Fishing Store, Voltron, which I did a full review on. If you want to see my first video podcast ever, it was a review on Voltron, quite possibly one of the best Lego sets ever produced, not just by Lego Ideas. So that was really neat. Women of NASA, the ship in a bottle. Hey, can I tell you this? My wife, that's one of the first sets that she was okay with putting in the living room. You know, you gotta warm your spouse up to Lego. That's just how this works, right? They're in the dark ages, and you gotta kind of pull them out with sets that they find intriguing. And most of the sets that I would get, right, I'd get a Star Wars set. And my wife would be like, hey, you know, that's nice. She's supportive of the hobby, but it can go get displayed in my office, right? The Lego ship in a bottle, that's been in our living room since we built it way back in 2019. And it's a gorgeous set. Everybody knows a ship in the bottle, and this is done in Lego form. Tron Legacy, the pop-up book. The pop-up book was one of the first books, first Lego sets my wife was ever like, I want that for me. I want to build the pop-up book. And it's super cute because, you know, you open it up and it's got the fairy tales that pop out just like an actual pop-up book would do. So very, very clever. Flintstones, Steamboat Willie, Central Park from Friends, dinosaur fossils, the International Space Station, the grand piano. Y'all, if y'all don't know about the grand piano, look up this set. It's 21323. The grand piano was released in August of 2020 for $400. But this set, 3,600 pieces, and it plays like a player piano. It's gorgeous. And it's not only gorgeous, its build techniques, the methods on how you came up with the curves, it's unbelievable. I mean, you think about it, Lego is a square brick, right? And to turn that into these gentle slopes in the right proportions for a piano was unbelievable. Probably, I would argue, one of the most logistically impressive Lego sets that I own, just as far from a design standpoint. You know, you build the Lego treehouse here, and you can kind of toy with it, right? You need the structure for the tree, but there's a lot of creative ingenuity there. You're making a piano, it's got to be exact. If it doesn't look like a piano, people are going to know, and it really does. It's incredible. But yeah, Sesame Street, Winnie the Pooh, a typewriter that types, which is cool. Like I said, Seinfeld, the Home Alone set, which when the Home Alone set came out was super hard to get. If you could get your hand on a Home Alone set early, you were able to sell this. It was on sale for $300. It was going on the aftermarkets at the time of release at Christmas for like $500. So really, really good. And I think you can kind of see the where I'm going with this. There's a lot of sets that are very investable. And the globe. Oh my gosh, the globe is so, so cool. It is an actual globe of the earth that spins on its wooden, Lego wooden holder, right? And all the continents are fairly accurate. And it is, like I say, a round globe made out of square bricks with glow-in-the-dark labels. And that, if that doesn't impress you, I just don't know what will. But yeah, the globe, Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night, the motorized lighthouse, the office, the biggest flop of Lego ideas, the foosball table. People did not want to buy this set. It was out on the market for about a year, and it sold poorly. But the A-frame cabin, BTS Dynamite, I don't know how that got approved. Tales of Space, Hocus Pocus, that was another set my wife loved. The Insect Collection, Viking Village, Orient Express, Polaroid, The Family Tree, The London Treehouse, D&D, The Tuxedo Cat, Jaws. And then I'm going to finish with these last two. And these were two sets that I actually just bought on October 1st. The Nightmare Before Christmas, that was the 51st set. And then the 52nd set, The Magic of Disney. And keep with the podcast. I hope you subscribe. I hope you stay tuned in, because these are sets that I will be doing full reviews on. If you check me out on YouTube, there's going to be full speed builds of both of these sets. They are just phenomenal. They are so, so cool. And what kind of theme can you go from having the magic of Disney, you know, and the theme right before it is The Nightmare Before Christmas, right? Tim Burton horror movie. It's just, you can't do that in any other Lego theme, and that's what makes Lego ideas just so gosh darn cool. And so those are the big ones, and I think I've talked a lot about this, but in the last like I say, since the theme has been out, 69 different sets. I currently own probably 45% of them. I don't think I quite own half of those, but there's just such diversity, and it's just such a wonderful theme that if you don't like one set, you just wait, because each new review session has a good 35 sets, and there's chances are the next set that comes out is going to be one you're going to be into. I actually was looking back, and I need to correct myself from a podcast I did last week. I was thinking there's only 2 or 3 LEGO idea sets that are getting released every year. Since 2020, they're releasing like 8 to 9 LEGO idea sets, which is no wonder I actually don't have as many as I thought I did, because they always started with 2 or 3. And as we've gotten more recently into the last couple of years, it's kind of exploded. And so the review sessions, there's way more than ever has been reviewed before, and there's a backlog of a couple years. And so, the Lego Jaws set was approved a couple years ago, but only was recently released. It's just, that's how it works. But anyway, with that, I just want to end it here. It's been kind of a long podcast, but you can tell how much I love this theme, and it's one that's definitely worth checking out. So a lot of these sets are still on shelves. So if you're interested, you probably got 10 to 15 of these sets that it can still be available for purchase today. Some of these sets on the aftermarket, you can actually still find at a really decent price. And like I say, there's a whole lot of diversity in this theme. So whether you like space, you like Disney, or you like a good horror movie, it's got you taken care of. So my hope is that LEGO Ideas is one of those themes that stays in business, that stays going, stays fresh for a long time to come, because there's just, the sky's the limit. Sky's the limit, So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this one. Obviously, I hope you can tell that I am passionate about it, love this topic, love talking about it. But with that, I wish you the very best. I thank you for listening in. And until then, I'll catch you on the next one.